What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Welcome to WWE Off The Script, episode number 10. This is your weekly show for WWE News and Rumors for the week ending April 27th, 2014. Now, this is the first time you guys are seeing me this week in regards to WWE News and Rumors. I did not do a Monday Night Raw review. I was just in a bad state of mind on Monday night, and I really did not have the desire to sit down in front of a microphone and do a Monday Night Raw review, because if I had to do one, it was either going to be following the show on Monday, which I really didn't feel good. I didn't feel up to it. Like I said, I didn't have any motivation or desire just because of what's going on with me and my personal situation with work. I did a commentary on that. If you guys want to find out what's going on, link is down below in the description. Go check that out. So then I worked on Tuesday, and after I got out of work, I didn't really have a desire to do it either because, it really wasn't that good of a show. It all revolved around Daniel Bryan and the death of his father, so we'll talk about that in a little bit this week for Monday Night Raw and the News and Rumors. But his father did pass away. The entire show had to be rewritten. Obviously, it affected the show, so that's why I didn't do it. It really wasn't all that great. Nothing really newsworthy happened out of that show. It was the same typical garbage that we see week in and week out on Monday Night Raw. And then I worked Tuesday, I worked Wednesday, and I had to take off Thursday. I actually went to go see Alter Bridge live in New York City at the Best Buy Theater in Times Square. Amazing fucking show. One of the best bands on the planet. Pretty funny situation happened at the show. Middle of the show, the entire crowd during a downtime started to do the Daniel Bryan yes chants during the concert, which was fucking hilarious. If Daniel Bryan is not in your mind as the top performer in WWE, if you see yes chants at a Alter Bridge show, which is a hard rock, heavy metal show in New York City, then obviously he has reached many, many people, and, well deserving for Daniel Bryan. But obviously, for Monday Night Raw, I didn't do one because, like I said, the show wasn't really up to par. I didn't have any desire to do one. Nothing really important happened. It all revolved around the opening show, the opening of the show, which I did see. Kane and Daniel Bryan. Kane incapacitated Daniel Bryan with 3 fucking tombstones, and then they wrote him off of the show for the rest of the 3 hours, and then obviously for the rest of the week, so that he can go back to Seattle or Aberdeen, Washington, wherever they're burying his father. His father just suddenly passed away. I don't have any news on that. I don't even know how old he was. I'm hearing 54. I'm hearing 57. I don't even know what he passed away from. But my thoughts go out to Daniel Bryan's family, friends, and obviously his wife, Brie Bella. But it's a shitty situation. I don't know what's going on this year with deaths in the family. I've had to deal with it on 3 separate occasions. I've had people at work have losses in their family. Daniel Bryan just lost his father. I can't even imagine what he's going through with the loss of his father. I can't even begin to imagine what would happen to my family if my father passed, or if my father's not around anymore. But my thoughts and prayers go out to Daniel Bryan for that situation. Hopefully everything is alright. We will see him on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday, wherever the show is taking place. But I do have a big show in store for WWE News and Rumors. Action-packed. I got fucking news about everyone and anything on this week's News and Rumors Off The Script. But I'm going to start off with the biggest story, in my honest opinion, this week, and that is revolving around Sting. Again, Sting is signed with the WWE. Everyone's saying, JD, what do you think about Sting? Is he going to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania 31? What is the status of The Undertaker? What happened with him losing the streak? Do you see him wrestling Sting at WrestleMania 31? Well, according to several sources, when asking around WWE, it is said that Sting versus The Undertaker is still up in the air for WrestleMania 31 because there are so many unknown factors. Sting's in-ring future, The Undertaker's health, etc. It's said that The Undertaker isn't even ready to begin thinking about doing another match until he's fully recovered from this year's WrestleMania. I've noted before on this channel that The Rock is more than likely going into the Hall of Fame next year. That's the word going around, that he is going to be the top choice for the Hall of Fame. I've also mentioned and reported that The Rock could end up facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. But the rumors going around right now is that a possible match with The Rock versus Sting has been brought up at least once amongst WWE creative. Word is that both Rock and Sting are interested in the match, but it's unknown if WWE officials are interested. That is quite the interesting story. What do you guys think about The Rock going one-on-one with the face, or the last remaining piece to the puzzle? That is WCW in the man they call Sting. What do you guys think about that? I would rather see Sting versus The Undertaker. I think that their ability to put on a match would kind of mesh better together than The Rock versus Sting. Even though The Rock versus Sting is a legendary WrestleMania dream match that many people I'm sure want to see, I would rather The Rock face Brock Lesnar, because it all revolves around 2002 SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar winning the WWE Championship. That was one hell of a fucking match between those two. I would love to see the rematch at WrestleMania 31. Let me know what you guys think about that. Sting versus The Undertaker up in the air, but it has been reported that The Rock versus Sting has been discussed. Let me know what you guys think about that. Regarding The Undertaker's streak ending, I reported last week that Vince McMahon was kind of a deciding factor in the streak. This week I'm reporting that a major misconception has been said regarding Undertaker and his call to end the streak. It is almost surely true that if he didn't want to have it ended, he could have put up a fight and it would most likely not have been ended. Okay? So, to an extent, that is true. If The Undertaker wanted it to end, okay. If he did not want it to end, The Undertaker would have never lost at WrestleMania. However, Undertaker was scheduled to win until some point a few days before the match, when Vince McMahon got in his ear and changed his mind. Based on Taker's physical condition, the feeling that there was a good chance this was his last WrestleMania ever. As far as The Undertaker's reaction when Vince suggested it, only he and Vince McMahon know for sure. One friend of Taker's said that he was talked into it, while another person very close to the situation said that Undertaker did not argue the decision. So many things going around now. Listen, all we need to worry about is that The Undertaker streak is over. We're never going to see another streak like that again. Brock Lesnar is the one carrying that fucking streak on to next year's WrestleMania, and whoever he loses to is going to be the next one made. It's all in Brock Lesnar's hands right now. We're going to have to live with it, but if it's Undertaker's decision to end it, that's his decision. He wanted it to end. He only knows why he wanted it to end. He's actually going to be on Stone Cold's podcast, so I'm sure we will hear that and why he ended the streak on that podcast. It's going to be a can't-miss episode. But as far as Vince McMahon, I do believe Vince McMahon did have some kind of say in the matter. Obviously, it's Vince McMahon. Obviously, it is his company. You know, he obviously wants, you know, whatever to happen to be his way. I'm sure he got into Undertaker's ear. I'm sure The Undertaker and him got into a little bit of back and forth with that. But ultimately, The Undertaker said, you know what, let's do it. Let's end it. That's it. No more Undertaker talk about the streak ending. Unless there's something being reported that I don't know. Undertaker's, you know, we don't know. His decision to come back. We don't know. We don't know whether he's going to fight Sting. We don't know whether he's going to be at WrestleMania next year. We don't know when he's going to retire. If he's retired, we don't know. This is only up to The Undertaker to let us know what he's going to do. But like I said last week, my gut feeling is that The Undertaker will be back next year to go against Sting. That is my prediction on that. I hope that really ends up happening, okay? CM Punk news. I didn't think I would have CM Punk news this week, but I do have CM Punk news. Word from within WWE is that there has been no contact with CM Punk as of the middle of last week, and it said that Vince McMahon was staying the course and giving Punk his space. It's believed that WWE officials will wait a few more months and give it one more try to re-sign Punk before his contract comes up in July. As has been said with other top stars leaving in the past, there is the feeling that no one person is bigger than the WWE. There is no panic from Vince to get Punk back ASAP, and it's said that Vince is more focused on having Punk long-term and doing what he thinks gives him the best shot to convince Punk not to retire so young. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, on the other hand, feel that the company should just move on and cut their losses, letting the contract expire without trying to re-sign him. Regarding AJ Lee, while it would be typical Vince to punish her for Punk's actions by burying her in the ring, it's actually been the opposite. Before she asked for time off and lost the Divas title to Paige, Vince wanted AJ booked as strong as possible because whatever influence she has over Punk, they want to make sure that she is happy and has positive things to say about the company. Sources close to Punk maintain he isn't interested in working pro wrestling outside of the WWE and considers himself fully finished with professional wrestling. This is pretty much what we've been reporting. This was reported back earlier this week. Punk will be back. I honestly do believe Punk will be back. I don't think he's done. You know, it's just silly to leave that kind of money on the table. He's still young. He just needed a time away from the company. He wanted to clear his head. He's obviously engaged to AJ. They probably want to get married. They want to spend time together. It's all about being a young guy and wanting to fucking relax, you know? When you're working as hard as Punk was working, and you're going through the rigorous schedule and putting your body through all the punishment day in and day out, and especially, you know, he just came off a 434-day title reign. What do you want from the guy? He's obviously unhappy. Everyone was unhappy about the way WWE was going into WrestleMania. He stepped away because he couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore, and I don't blame him. You know, obviously it's disrespectful to the company to just walk away and say, fuck you. But he did what he did because he was standing up for what he believes. You can't take that away from somebody. You don't find that kind of trait in somebody nowadays. They're all either a corporate ass kisser, a fucking, you know, just someone who's just fake. You know, CM Punk is not fake. He's being true to himself, and he just wanted time away. He didn't want to be bothered with the bullshit. He was unhappy with the way they were progressing with his character. You know, obviously there's a lot of money left on the table with Punk walking away. I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he's got people whispering in his ear, listen, dude, come back. But he just wants the time away. I don't agree with him walking away because it's disrespectful to the company after they made him who he is. But, you know, Punk will be back. That's my honest opinion on that. Punk will be back. Punk will be back in the WWE looking better than ever, healthy, ready to go. And I hope he's back because I do want to see, in this title reign of Daniel Bryan, I do want to see Punk versus Bryan, a heel Punk, versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Money right there in that match. I would have it main event SummerSlam, but the talk right now is Brock Lesnar. I don't know. We got to wait till Punk's contract comes up in July. I do think he shows face once before that contract expires. And then right under the table, he signs a new deal. That's what I'm going with. That's my prediction on that. But Punk, I do believe he will be back. Let me know what you guys think about Punk. Adam Rose, one of my favorites down at NXT. If you guys know Adam Rose, NXT, great fucking show. I just got done watching last week's episode. You had the Usos and Sami Zayn versus the Ascension and Corey Graves. Great fucking match. Great show. I really look forward to NXT every week. I don't watch it initially on Thursday, but I do catch up on the weekends. Adam Rose is coming to the main roster very soon. I'm very excited about that. I love his character. It's different. It's fresh. It's something very unique for the main roster. Okay? Rose almost instantly became a fan favorite after WWE did away with the Leo Kruger character and debuted the new character, Adam Rose. However, word from this week's Raw is that officials are already second-guessing the main roster debut of Adam Rose. Apparently, the hesitancy has to do with the Rockstar Party Bus gimmick being too similar to 3MB and in need of a tall tale to make it work. The source noted that this could be doomed from the get-go. Now, let me take a sip of my beverage because this is going to be a long episode, okay? So give me 1 second. Good fucking shit right there. Fudge cheesecake seltzer. I don't drink soda no more. I gave up on soda. You know, obviously to cut down on the pounds. Too much sugar. I was drinking fucking bottles and bottles of soda a day. No good, not healthy. I've been drinking seltzer religiously for the last 2 years. But going back to Adam Rose, let me tell you something. 3MB are fucking scrubs. They're just a waste of roster talent besides Drew McIntyre. I wish Drew McIntyre would go back to that fucking just kicking ass gimmick he had when he was the IC champion and Vince McMahon's chosen one. That's what they have to do with him. He's got so much untapped potential that he should be fighting for IC championships and in the mid card, right in the middle of things for the mid card. But Adam Rose and 3MB, there's no fucking comparison. Adam Rose has more charisma and in-ring skill than anyone in 3MB, so why would you even compare the two? They're two completely different gimmicks. You got three idiots who have a mock rock band. Meanwhile, you got Adam Rose, who's like a fucking a rave type character. He just loves to have a good time. He loves to be around party people. He loves to party. How is that a similar gimmick to 3MB? Why are people already in WWE spelling doom for this character? This is the WWE in their bullshit, not knowing what to do. 3MB is gone. Scrap them. Scrap the gimmick. It's failed. It's useless. It has no fucking spot on TV. Okay? Adam Rose does. He's good in the ring. He's great on camera. He's got a great gimmick to work with. Let him go. Why are you comparing the two? I don't understand it. They couldn't be so much far apart. That's my opinion on that. They're very different, which the WWE seems not to understand. But that's my feeling on it. Hopefully, they work this shit out with Adam Rose, because I do want to see him debut on the main roster. It should be interesting, it should be exciting, and it should be fresh. That's the most important word here. Fresh. I want to see Adam Rose on the WWE main roster. I can't wait to see him, hopefully, on Monday Night Raw. What else do I got here? There is reportedly a lot of turmoil. TNA news. I don't usually do TNA, but this is quite interesting. A lot of turmoil within TNA's creative department right now. It's no secret that Big John Goldberg has gained a lot of power since coming in. This is in part because he is willing to do the job of several men for the salary of one man. Big currently got his hand in creative, production, and talent relations. According to a source, Dixie Carter was taking Big's word on every turn, even though he was suddenly in charge of an area of the company in which he had no previous experience. At the same time, Dixie was becoming quite hands-off and really trusted Big, I'm going to call him because that's what they go by him, his name here in the article, with everything. However, there has been an issue lately where Dixie feels she got really bad advice from Big on how to handle the situation with AJ Styles leaving the company. Big was convinced that AJ's options were limited and that ultimately he would give in to the lesser pay and come back to TNA. As recently as a couple of weeks ago, Big was still trying to assure Dixie Carter that AJ would change his mind and come asking for his job back in TNA. A source close to Big's problem says is saying is that he doesn't see the bigger picture outside TNA. When Dixie learned that Styles signed a new contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling, she felt like she got terrible advice from Big. Now, I don't watch TNA. I really think TNA is failing. I think TNA is going to end up closing shop at the end of the year. It's a dead product. You know, it's got nothing new to offer. Most of those guys are going to end up coming back to WWE anyway. You know, it's not interesting to me. And the fact that you're going to let AJ Styles go and sign a contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling when he's obviously the face of the company, you know, why would you let someone like that go? That's like letting Daniel Bryan go and not signing him to a new contract because you don't want to pay him what he's asking. Really? Really? You're backed by Panda Energy. I'm sure you have money somewhere just to save yourself in front of the general public. Now you let AJ Styles go. You know how many fucking fans you've alienated from the TNA product because you let AJ Styles go? And who's to say that, Bully Ray is not going to end up leaving? Who's to say that Jeff Hardy's not going to end up leaving? Kurt Angle. You know, who else do you got there? You don't have that one big name there. You know? You got Magnus, but he's not that big name. You got Eric Young as your fucking TNA champion. It's obviously a ripoff of Daniel Bryan's win at WrestleMania because he's got a similar look with the beard. You know, he's got the size of a Daniel Bryan. They're doing nothing but mimicking what the WWE is doing. They haven't created an identity for themselves. That's the problem with TNA. They're too worried about what WWE is doing. Listen, you can't compare to them. You don't have the resources the WWE does. Do what you do. Put on an in-ring product that people will say, holy shit, this is a good in-ring product. And just worry about that. Fuck the storylines. You know, fuck all this other bullshit. Sign who you need to sign. Get the best in-ring product you could possibly can out of the guys you have on the roster right now, and worry about that. You're worried about what the WWE is doing in terms of storylines and, you know, how they're developing new guys, and you're trying to do that, and you can't do it. You just can't do it. And this article and this news story obviously shows you how dysfunctional TNA is right now. You let AJ Styles go. That's a fucking problem. That is a huge problem. If Dixie knew AJ Styles was the one to keep, why didn't she do it herself? Goes to show you that Dixie Carter is clueless about what to do with TNA. I do think TNA is a failing product. I do see TNA closing at the end of the year. They just can't handle it. Too many mistakes, too many holes in the ship, I should say, is going to sink it. Plain and simple. That's my opinion on TNA. PW Insider spoke to Bill Goldberg shortly before WWE's WrestleMania 30 pay-per-view earlier this month. Regarding the rumors of possibly returning to face Ryback, Goldberg said he had a few talks with Triple H, but none of them were specifically geared towards WrestleMania, and none of their talks had to do with Ryback. Goldberg described the talks as general conversations that didn't lead anywhere. Goldberg says he says that he still trains, and maybe more than he's ever had in his entire life, and had the following to say about a possible return. Would I love to do it again and have my son and my wife, who had never seen me wrestle? Abso-damn-lutely, he says. Would I jeopardize what I've done in the wrestling world just to make that happen? No. So if I wasn't ready to do it, physically ready to do it, and it wasn't the right situation, I wouldn't just do it to do it. If that was the case, I probably would have been at WrestleMania this year. It just has to be right, and if it's not right, then I am retired for good. I know you guys want to see Goldberg back. I think he's got a few more matches in him. I want to see Goldberg back. Hopefully, somewhere down the line in the future, Goldberg and WWE come to an agreement to get him on a WrestleMania, to bring him back for a few more matches. I would like to see it. Goldberg's name obviously is a big draw. It's a money draw. Obviously, you're going to have that big match feel with Goldberg there. He's still in great shape. He still looks great. I would love to see Bill Goldberg back in the WWE at some point. I wish it would have been this year. It could have added a little bit more to the WrestleMania card, even though WrestleMania was okay this year. Better than the last 3 editions of WrestleMania. But if Goldberg was on WrestleMania this year, obviously I don't blame him. It needs to be right. You know, you just can't put him against Ryback or, you know, someone just random. It's got to make sense. It's got to be right for him. He's got to want to do it. But I do want to see Goldberg back in the WWE eventually. I think it would be good for business. Some articles online are reporting that WWE is now referring to their pay-per-view events as special events. SummerSlam is still being billed as a pay-per-view, so that's likely the plan for the bigger events. I don't care what they call them, or what they call them. To me, they're always going to be pay-per-views. Special events, this, that, whatever. It's a pay-per-view. Stupid fucking WWE trying to rename everything. It's a pay-per-view. That's all it is. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's been. That's what I'm going to continue to call it. It's a pay-per-view. Speaking of Eric Young and TNA and him being the new champion, people within WWE are said to be incredibly amused by TNA putting their World Heavyweight title on Eric Young in a knockoff of Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Nobody has any problem with Eric Young as a worker or as a person as much as they think the booking is ridiculous, and it is very ridiculous. Eric Young goes from, like, the Santino Marella of TNA to all of a sudden the TNA World Champion. Obviously, it's a blatant ripoff of Daniel Bryan. What else we got here? According to PW Insider, Batista is taking some time off after WWE Extreme Rules, and as he is not currently being advertised for any WWE events after the show, including Raw the next night from Albany, New York. He is also not advertised for the big European tour that kicks off in May. It was reported back in the winter that Batista signed with the WWE and that he was expected to take some time off to do promotional work for Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel's new movie coming out this summer, but the movie doesn't open until August 1st. So I do think Batista will take a few weeks off, promote the movie, be back in time for SummerSlam. So obviously we will not be seeing that much of Batista from Extreme Rules going on into SummerSlam. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. Are you going to miss him? Are you not going to miss him? Let me know down below. I, for one, couldn't care less. I really don't. I don't care about Batista. I think they handled his return bad. They gave him too much too soon. Obviously, he didn't deserve it. It was all about Daniel Bryan, but we ended up getting what we wanted anyway in Daniel Bryan being the new WWE Champion. The main goal of WWE doing a feud between The Shield and Evolution is to push Roman Reigns as a top player and to get him into a singles match with Triple H. I predicted that, so obviously I know what I'm talking about. The match with Triple H is rumored for SummerSlam, but word is that it could end up taking place at Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series if they decide to stretch it out a bit longer. Also, in regards to Evolution, Ric Flair, spoiler alert here, Ric Flair has been booked to return to WWE on this coming Monday Night Raw from St. Louis. One would assume that Flair will be getting involved in the Evolution storyline because of his history with the group. As of 2 weeks ago, the plan was for Flair not to be involved in the reunited Evolution. Number 1, I predicted Roman Reigns versus Triple H. Number 2, I predicted SummerSlam. Number 3, I do not think they should stretch it out any longer. Obviously, the more you stretch it out, the more stale the program is going to become. That's just my honest opinion on it. I think Hell in a Cell, it's a shit pay-per-view. Obviously, if you want the most exposure on Roman Reigns, you're going to put him at SummerSlam. That's where the money is going to be. Hell in a Cell, if you look at the past buy rate for Hell in a Cell, it flopped. I don't even know why it's a fucking pay-per-view. Obviously, the WWE really doesn't care about pay-per-view now because all the pay-per-views are going to be on the WWE Network. But if I was the WWE, if I was Vince McMahon, I would take out Hell in a Cell in October and I would replace it with Halloween Havoc. They should really revamp the pay-per-view schedule or the special events schedule and make it a little bit more intriguing, a little bit more prestigious, I would say. Hell in a Cell, it's a waste of a pay-per-view, okay? The Hell in a Cell is not the same match it used to be 10 years ago. Obviously, they don't use the Hell in a Cell to its full potential as a match. Hell in a Cell should be an attraction special match that ends feuds. It should not be its own pay-per-view. I don't like these gimmick pay-per-views in which the main event is always a Hell in a Cell. It's just stupid to me. I've always thought that. I would really take that out of the pay-per-view calendar and, like, replace it with Halloween Havoc. That's been my idea for the longest. And I may actually do a behind the mic on that and tell you what I think they should do with the pay-per-view calendar. I've always wanted to do something like that and tell you what I would do and how I would book it and so on and so forth. But Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series don't even get the buy rates that it used to be getting back in the early 90s, late 90s. It's a dead pay-per-view. It's a dead concept. You know, it's classic. I love it. But the WWE doesn't treat it as such. They don't treat it as the Survivor Series that we know, you know? When we used to grow up back in the late 90s and the early 90s, Survivor Series, 4-on-4. Put the most random 4 guys against the most random 4 guys. Obviously, the top matches on the card would mean something. It would be guys who are already in the middle of feuds, feuding. I'm going to choose these 3 guys, you're going to go against these 3 guys. WWE hasn't done that. They don't really live up to the Survivor Series name. But Roman Reigns versus Triple H at SummerSlam, that's money right there. SummerSlam is your second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Book it. That's where the money's going to be. That's where the most eyes are going to be on Roman Reigns. So if they really want to push Roman Reigns and get him in a singles feud with Triple H, have him go over Triple H, and get him into the eyes of the general public in the WWE Universe, SummerSlam is the place to do it. The original plan for Cesaro to have no theme music was going to go on a little bit longer, as it was a Vince McMahon idea, but Triple H talked Vince into changing his mind. It was said that Triple H hated the idea of Cesaro coming out to no theme song. On a related note, the idea to align Cesaro with Heyman was something that they came up with on their own and pitched it to Vince. Vince obviously loved the idea, so they went along with it. A few things here. I was talking about this with my brother. Cesaro's theme music is awful. It is absolutely fucking awful. The new one that he debuted on Monday Night Raw was terrible. It sounds like a fucking jobber theme. It really doesn't fit his look. It doesn't fit his identity. It doesn't fit his character. Jack Swagger, on the other hand, his music is perfect for Cesaro. So why don't you give Jack Swagger's theme song, the All-Americans theme, or the Real Americans theme, to Cesaro, have him come out with that, because obviously it fits Cesaro better than Swagger, and give Swagger his old Rage Against the Machine music. Why don't you do that? The music that he came out to was just generic. It was like an old WCW theme. You're going to have Cesaro, the guy who you're trying to build up as a major player, you're going to have him come out to shitty music? If the music isn't good to listen to, if the music doesn't get you pumped up to see the guy coming out, then why are you going to give him that kind of music? I don't understand it. So this is what you do, WWE. Listen to me, and I'm sure you guys agree with me. You take Swagger's music, you give it to fucking Cesaro. You take Jack Swagger's old Rage Against the Machine music, you give it back to him. Because he's a singles guy now again. He's not in a tag team with Cesaro. Boom. Problem solved. Problem solved. And also, Cesaro with Heyman, I'm starting not to like it. Heyman is a heel. Heyman is not a face. Heyman is a heel. If you want Cesaro to be the next coming of Daniel Bryan, and you want him to get over like Daniel Bryan, obviously it's not going to happen with Paul Heyman by his side. They fucked things up, and hopefully this kind of corrects itself in the long run, because I do want to see Cesaro as a face rather than a heel. But obviously, if Vince likes the idea, I'm sure Vince will make it work. But right now, I'm not liking Heyman and Cesaro. I'm not. I think Cesaro was better off on his own. I think Cesaro was better off with Jack Swagger's theme. That's just my idea. Let me know what you guys think about that. I've also noted before here on Off the Script that an Evolution vs. Shield War Games was being speculated, but no arenas between now and SummerSlam would be able to accommodate a 2-ring setup like the old WCW match. And it turns out that the Tampa Bay Times Forum in Tampa, site of this year's Battleground event, is big enough for a War Games setup. WWE, book it. But with Batista being out, who's going to be in War Games if it does happen? Obviously, you can't have Evolution without Batista. I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe Ric Flair comes back. I don't know. But I do think War Games is a great idea. They should start incorporating old school WCW themes and pay-per-views into their current product. I think it would be good just to kind of resurrect, some of the prestige that WCW had. Also, those are things you can't forget about. And obviously to bring some type of refresher to the WWE product, because sometimes it gets stale, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. It gets stale. And the pay-per-view calendar really needs to be revamped. I'm not going to say that again. I really believe that it needs to be revamped. WWE isn't looking at turning Bray Wyatt babyface until the Shield makes their return to being heel. That way, both groups will continue to remain on the opposite side of the fence, with the exception of Roman Reigns, who will split off into a babyface role. Number one, Bray Wyatt should never become a babyface. He is a born heel. I do not want to see them as a babyface, any of the Wyatts, at that matter. The Shield, I want to see them remain face, because I think they make very good faces. They make good heels, they make good faces. But Bray Wyatt's character and his whole demeanor is a heel. You're not going to turn him into a babyface. So I don't even want to hear about that. Huge mistake if WWE is actually looking into that. I do not want that to happen. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Bad News Barrett is expected to defeat Rob Van Dam on Monday's Raw, likely due to interference from Cesaro, and will go on to face Big E for the WWE Intercontinental title Extreme Rules. This will lead to Cesaro versus Van Dam versus Swagger in a 3-way at Extreme Rules. Very interesting. Another match scheduled for Extreme Rules, but not yet announced, is Ryback and Curtis Axel versus the Usos for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Extreme Rules is looking like a decent pay-per-view. I do expect Bad News Barrett to defeat Big E Langston for the Intercontinental title. I do see Bad News Barrett as the new IC champion. I do see Bad News Barrett going on this year and revitalizing his career. Finally, Bad News Barrett is a character that Wade Barrett can work with. He's got the mic skills, he's got the in-ring work, he's got a great physique, he's got a great character. And he seems to be having fun with this character of Bad News Barrett. I'm a fan of it. The fans are taking the liking to it. He's just great on the mic, and his smirks and his attitude when he's talking about, bringing bad news to the WWE Universe is great to see. It's funny, it's sarcastic, it's enjoyable to watch. This is the last chance for Barrett, though. If he doesn't succeed, he's done. So I would definitely give Bad News Barrett the IC title, let him run with it. And I do see, I'm going to make a bold prediction, and I want you guys to remember this going into later this year. Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett, whatever you want to fucking call him, will be a main event player by next year's WrestleMania. I guarantee it. He's got all the tools to do so, and this is finally the one character, after many failed attempts, that Wade Barrett is going to surprise you all. Wade Barrett is going to be on the top of the card going into WWE later this year. That's my prediction for Bad News Barrett. WWE officials continue to have discussions about turning Sheamus heel. The plan was for him to turn heel earlier this year, shortly after his return, and face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30, but several plans were changed around when CM Punk walked out. On a related note, it is said that Vince McMahon ultimately wants Cody Rhodes as a heel, which is the reason for the dissension between he and Goldust. I would keep Goldust and Cody together. I don't think they ever should have lost the tag team straps. Sheamus is a heel. make it happen. I think it would work. I'm tired of seeing Sheamus as a face. I've always liked Sheamus better as a heel, and I think right now is the time to turn him and make him stand out a little bit more and kind of create something new and fresh with Sheamus. Obviously, it'll work. It worked before, and I do expect it to work again. I can't wait to see Sheamus turn heel. I think it's going to be very good for him and his character. Very interesting last two news articles here. The Motor City Machine Guns. Now, if you guys remember them from TNA, word going around is that Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, who are both now free agents, once again have interest from WWE, but there's no word yet on how serious the interest from WWE is. It is also known that Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling has interest in the duo. You guys know I have a huge passion for tag team wrestling. WWE, Triple H, and Vince McMahon. Make it happen. You got the Motor City Machine Guns in WWE. You instantly legitimize your tag team division. Make it happen. It would be fucking fantastic. And finally, Bo Dallas lost his WWE Intercontinental Champion, or lost to Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston at NXT tapings this week. Full Sail University obviously is the place for NXT, and in a match that will air on May 22nd, the stipulation was that if Bo lost, he had to leave NXT, and if he won, he got an NXT title shot. WWE began airing vignettes for Bo's return to the main roster, so we will likely start seeing him on Raw and SmackDown full-time around the end of May. There you got it, guys. News and rumors this week. I had a ton of shit for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think of the biggest news stories this week down in the comments below. I will be viewing Monday Night Raw from Public House on 41st Street between 7th and 8th Avenues downtown in Manhattan on Monday. I will hopefully be bringing you some pictures and video with Justin LaBar from WrestleZone.com, one of my favorite editors and news writers in the world of professional wrestling. Obviously, I'll be meeting him. He's going to be there with the rest of the WrestleZone crew. $25 a ticket, all you can eat, all you can drink during the entire 3-hour edition of Monday Night Raw. It's going to be great. Me and my girlfriend are going. Hopefully a few of my other friends will end up meeting us there, but it should be exciting. Obviously, I'm off from work on Tuesday, so I will definitely be bringing you a Monday Night Raw review following the show on Tuesday morning, like always, and give you my experience from the bar. So look forward to that on Tuesday. If you missed last week's Off the Script, obviously all my previous WWE videos are down below in the description. And as always, fuck those other guys. This is your #1 source for all your WWE needs right here on YouTube.com. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Me and Mr. Soldier are going to be partying in Manhattan on Saturday as you guys view this. So take care, and I will see you guys on Tuesday for Monday Night Raw. Take care, guys.